I'm Dave Goss. I'm an economic development consultant to Perquimans County here in North Carolina. Well, my job primarily is to try to attract new companies or expansion of existing companies to the county. We have no manufacturing base here. We used to have the textile industry and we lost that 20 years ago, and it hasn't been replaced. So our job is trying to find good quality jobs to come into the county, because in the last 20 years our job base is basically retail, service, and government, and that's okay, but they don't have the same quality of pay that a manufacturing or light industry company has. Well, this is what's called the Amazon Wind Farm. It's actually in two counties, about 104 wind turbines. Half of them, about half are in our county, and the other half are in another county called Pasquotank County. And it's been operational now for a little over a year. Well, from an economic development perspective, that's what I would be talking about. There's two things that it impacts: jobs and enhancement of the property tax base. Those are the two things, plus a commitment to clean energy and all that. But from an economic development perspective, those are the two things. From a job perspective, when the wind farm was being built, there were over several hundred jobs here for over a year, and it really had a major economic boom on the region, just not our county. We're a rural county, so people had to live quite a ways away sometimes when they were staying here for a year. So their impact on the general economy in the region was significant. After the wind farm opened, there were only about 15 to 20 jobs. They happen to be here in this county, and they're the operational people, high-paying jobs, because these people not only have to be technically skilled, they have to be able to climb up and down these things. And so that is a boon, but it's not a huge job creator. The biggest impact on the county is on the property tax base. Well, there's two things actually, but let me talk about the property tax for the county. Each turbine generates tax, and right now the Amazon wind farm, even there's a kind of a sliding scale for the tax base over the next 14 years, is that they are now the biggest taxpayer in the county, and as time goes on, that'll just escalate. So that is huge for the county, because we're basically a rural county, and we don't have any large employers and things like that. So this was a real boon to that. The other impact was on the farmers that own the land out here. Each farmer got a 20-year lease for about a 1 acre of land, and a lot of these farmers had multiple acres that they were doing. That's a guaranteed income, and they didn't lose the impact of their farming. You can see they're still farming there, and they can farm right up to it, and so that makes a big difference because it's a guaranteed income for these farmers. Well, the main ones were probably restaurants and places where they stayed. And of course, when they were here for a year, they had to exist. And so, they were going to stores and buying just general stuff. And so they were living in the community for over a year. So that wherever those stores were, it's the retail side of the thing. I mean, if they got sick, if they got something else, they had to go to doctors, and they had other service-based employment. So those were the basic people that benefited from that during the construction period. From the farmer's point of view, they put in 60 miles of road to service these things, and now all of a sudden these farmers had 60 miles of road that they never had before. They had I don't know how they got to their fields. I guess they just created their own roads, but you can see here the road, one of the roads is right here. It goes into the general fund, and so what it allows the county to do is to enhance the services they provide to the residents. Also, they have some resources to do new types of projects. For example, a new library is now built in Hertford, and that they financed that library. And I don't know if the money goes into the general fund, so I don't know where it goes, but I'm sure that helps fund projects like that where you get into capital improvement projects in the county. But generally it goes in the general fund and is used to continue to support the services that counties provide. And there was all sorts of claims of noise and health concerns and all that. Well, that doesn't prove out at all. As you can see here how noisy it is here. It just isn't any noise to speak of unless you're right underneath them. Oh gosh, yes. I mean, if you're interested in property tax, I think each one is going to be different because the key factor is what's the impact on the closest residents of the farm, and if there's even here there was just a handful of residents, maybe 10, that were directly impacted by it, but people could see it. As you can see behind me, you can see these from a long distance.